So I just keep it right here, and it'll get everything. Basically, I admire how, because nowadays, love is just like, what can you do for me? Or what am I going to get out of it? Or if you're not, like, we're going to do 50-50. When really it should be each giving 100. And even if that person isn't giving 100, you choose to be like, okay, well, I'm going to still, even though I don't want to right now, I'm going to choose to serve you. I'm going to choose to love you. Because, you know, love is a choice. So I think y'all really exemplify that.
Well, we try. We try to be fair with each other and do what we think the other one likes. And, you know, we're not always agree, but we usually we compromise. Mm-hmm. We compromise and come to an agreement.
Okay, so, like, tell my readers, well, I'm saying readers, I'm recording this, I'm going to type it up. So, just a little about yourselves. How did y'all meet? What age y'all met?
Okay, we were in college, and we did not date in college. But he and my oldest brothers.
Like in your early 20s?
Early 20s. I graduated from college at 22.
Oh, so you're young.
Yeah, 22. Okay. 4 years back then. And he and my brother were great friends in the biology department. They both got their degrees in biology. Okay. So I knew Clifford because he was a campus photographer. So I saw him, and we took a class together. What class was that we took together, Clifford? Some education course, yes. Mm-hmm. And every time I'd get over there, he was standing there holding the door open for me. I said, what is this all about? And then after that, I had been teaching, I guess almost a year in Waco. And he just decided to come up to my hometown, Cameron, and visit one weekend. And we just sort of took off and went from there. We knew each other. Mm-hmm. And from then on, he would come. He was working at Dow, and I was teaching in Waco. Okay. And he would drive from Prairie View up to Cameron every weekend, which was how far, Clifford? I don't know. About how much? About 2 hours? 2 hours every weekend. Yeah. Wow. And then we'd get up there, and then we'd go somewhere. We'd go to Waco. We'd go to Austin. Every weekend, we'd go to Temple. We'd do something. He'd come up to visit me every weekend. And we probably dated about, how many months do you think we dated? Well, you think we dated a year? I guess we dated a year. And then we got engaged. Aww. And then we were married. Got engaged in December. Then got married in August of 1968. So we've been married 47 years.
Wow, that's fantastic. 47 years.
Yeah, but we knew each other in college. Mm-hmm. You know, I knew who he was, but that was the extent of it. Mm-hmm. And he knew me, you know.
What do you think made him? Obviously, he pursued you because nowadays, like, most girls are pursuing the guys, and the guys are just like, well, they could kind of care less, but they're just gonna take it since you're already like. I love the fact that he drove to see you. Because he saw your value and your worth, and he treated you like a queen. Yes, he did. And nowadays, it's like most girls don't see their value, don't even think they're valuable, so we go chasing after and thinking, like, love me, when you're a gem, you don't have to do all that. No. And guys are natural hunters. They like to, like, there's no excuse if so.
Well, that was pretty much the story of my life. I always had guys who would pursue me. I was never one to chase down a guy.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Because I remember we were dating, and I had this other guy who liked me. And anyway, Clifford and I were more serious, and he came up one weekend, and when he got there, then Clifford pulled up. I asked my mom. I said, "Oh, Mama, what did I do? What did I do?" And she said, "Well, just tell him that he's here." So once he got there, and we sat there and talked for a few minutes. Were we engaged at that point when Larry came? Were we engaged? I can't remember whether we were engaged or not, but he could tell we were pretty serious. So the other guy just thought, well, I'll see you all later. And you know, and then we just sort of hit it off from there and just always did things together. And once we got married, you know, he was always about buying this for me, taking me here, doing this, you know, always trying to please me. Is that right, Clifford? How would you state it? Do you think you tried to please me? Yeah. You tried to please me? He tried his best.
So basically, y'all dated for a short period of time, and nowadays people like date for like 8 years, 10 years, 5 years, and really the guys really don't even. A lot of the times, guys will even admit that I don't want to marry her or I don't want to marry him. It's just good for now. Like, what do y'all think about that? And like,
well, I don't know. That's sort of like you really don't know what you want to do, you know. But you know, I guess people they're not willing to take any chances. Maybe they think it's taking a chance.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, back in those days, you just felt like if somebody told you that they were truthful to you, you know, they told you the truth, you could trust them. And that's probably, it's a different thing now because people don't have the same attitude about dating. It's more or less just, here's one over here, here's one over there. And
it's just fun.
It's just fun. Yeah, I'm not really serious about anybody. That's why people many times will be friends or hang out together for 8 or 10 years, and then they still might not marry. You know, after 10 years, they might go to somebody else.
And the fact that y'all are together for 46 years is just...
47.
47. It's just astonishing because nowadays people have been married 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's like, especially with Hollywood, like, that's the world, America's example. They get married like it's changing their shoes. Like,
that's right.
Didn't work out. Well, they signed, like, agreements before, like, saying, if this happens, like, that's already kind of like... You know, like, putting the bad foot forward if you're saying, well, you know. You
don't feel comfortable. You're unconfident. You know, you still have some doubts. So you just... And, you know, once we got married, we were dedicated and devoted to each other. And that's just, you know, we did everything together. You know, that has changed in that he's not able to do that. But we did everything together. Clifford could say, I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store. I said, okay, wait a minute, put my shoes on. And he said, I'm just going to the grocery store. I said, okay, we'll go. He goes, baby, go in the grocery store, and I just sit in the car, watch people, just go.
So y'all are truly best friends. I think that's a perfect foundation. Because now marriage seems to be like you're just roommates and living together and just like stuck.
Right.
But really, you should be like, how joyful it is to be with your best friend. I truly see that with
we just
guys.
Always did everything together.
How did y'all get that foundation when y'all were dating? Like with just becoming like the core of friends. Even though I know it grows over time. 46 years, that's going to grow until you're going to fall more in love each day. Yeah. But how did y'all, you know, like, what set y'all apart, or what do you think was influential, like, in that time of courting or that time of engagement where you had that foundation?
Well, I don't know. I guess we knew we were of an age, and back in that day, that was the age when you basically got married, you know, in your 20s, 23, 24, 25, something like that. By that time, you know, you had graduated from college, we both had jobs, and you said, well, I guess the next thing is to get married, you know, and hopefully start a family and go from there. That was just sort of, I think that was more or less the standards back in those days, you know.
And sometimes I think those are good. Like, not saying every person is going to get married. Every person needs to get married at this age. But sometimes in our society, it's just like, what can you get which is, I'm not saying these things are bad, but we're always like, build up you first, build up this, then get this, then go to the gifts, then you need to get this, then you need to get this. It's always like a thing where you're building up for until you're like 50, and it's like, wait, I need it. Like, I wish I had a family, because we're so go get it and just get it and get it and get it and get it that we're kind of selfish.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Whereas back in those days, you know, you were more or less trying to work together. Trying to work together. Clifford, what do you have to say? I'm doing all this talking. Come on, what do you have to say? What do you like to share? Come on. What do you think about it? Marriage and how people got together back in the day.
Or what was going through your mind when you're like, I'm not going to date her for 10 years or 5 years or date some other girls on this?
What'd you say? You were dating other girls, but once you saw me, what happened? You knew that was it? He said, this is it. So,
what was it about her? Like, what was like, this is it? Like, what are some? I know it's a bunch of many characteristics, what are like some of the top things that set her apart from every other girl in the world? I know that's a hard question, but
what step made me different from the other girls you dated?
He kissed.
Huh?
He kissed the other girls.
He kissed me. He didn't kiss the other girls. What else? Yeah, I think he had dated me twice and got ready to go. Well, I guess we had a kiss. He probably been up to see me twice, I guess. What else, Clifford? What else do you have to say about us that attracted me to you?
You know what attracted you to me?
What?
I was attracted to you.
You were attracted to me? How?
Pretty girl.
Pretty girl.
I like pretty girl.
You like pretty girl? Yeah, so we just sort of hit it off, you know, and he was always, during our marriage, you know, never wanted to put pressure on me to do anything really. Like I was heard lady today at the beauty salon talk about her husband. Wouldn't take her out. If he took her out to dinner, he'd sit there and watch her eat. And then when she got back home, she had to prepare dinner. And see, Cliff was just the opposite. I could be in there. I said, oh, what am I going to fix? Don't worry about it. Let's go. We go out and eat, you know. And we did that probably too much, 90% of the time. But as far as putting pressure on me to cook or to do anything, now I'm wanting to keep in the house clean, but he didn't worry about that. You know, that was one thing that, oh, you just worry about making sure everything is all in place. But he's glad that I always did it.
But there was no
pressure on
you
me
all the time
about doing the house. But he always knew I loved to go and shop. What about that, Clifford?
I did.
You what?
I didn't love to go and shop.
He didn't love to go shopping. Usually if we went shopping, we went in the gallery or something, I said, okay, I'm going over here. He said, I'm going over here, and I'll meet you back at whatever. But usually, very seldom would we, on a few occasions, you know, we'd be out shopping, and I'd try on something, and I say, you like this or something, but usually he said, you go and get what you want, and I'll go down here and look, and come back, and we'll meet back at a certain time. And then travel, you know, he always knew I loved to go, and everywhere we went, who was the driver, Clifford?
Aw, y'all had adventures.
Yeah. Whether we were in Dallas or New York, whatever, D.C., he did all driving.
Aww.
And I don't know if that's good because I can't do it.
I think it's awesome to, especially Mr. Ward being a great father and husband, especially being a black man. I think that's why another reason I want to showcase you guys, because
oh my goodness,
the black, sometimes in the black community, a lot of times we don't have our fathers, or if we do have our fathers, they're in and out the house, or maybe are not. But that all stems from I believe from the slavery. They took away the fathers. It was a part of in slavery we didn't the man it was a part of the plan and we just been conditioned to believe that. But I love that this. The strong
we always did
family.
everything together. Even when Portia was a little girl, I can count the times on one hand when we went to an event that we didn't take her. She stayed with Clifford's parents who lived here in Lake Jackson. We were going to a fraternity dance or something like that. But if we were going to concerts, I remember taking Portia. We took Portia to see Ray Charles. We took her to see Ella Fitzgerald, old jazz vocalist. Anywhere we went, we took her, And as a result, she's, to this day, very comfortable and trained. They train that son's the same way to be comfortable to go and do anything, anywhere. We always did everything as a family. We just didn't. We always did everything as a family.
Yeah. I was going to ask, how do you, seeing y'all's strong relationship, and when I say strong, we're human. We're always going to fall. I know it's not perfect. Perfect doesn't mean strong doesn't mean perfect.
No.
But it does mean y'all are willing to fight to stay together and do it. It takes marriage is an effort, not just a fairy tale. Any relationship, Even your best friend takes effort to keep that relationship and to show that respect. So how do you think that affected your daughter, Portia? Because she's married, she has a beautiful family, and I know, like, because even studies say that seeing a strong family, like your parents, like that affects how your self-esteem, like having a father saying you're beautiful. I mean, some girls still go out there and do whatever and have low self-esteem, but having the father there, seeing your dad love your mom, it's like, I deserve that too.
Exactly. So that has played a big factor, big role into that family and into that marriage. You know, Marcus is, you know, very, she sent a picture last week. He's one who sends a beautiful floral arrangement. She said this one just said, I love you. And, you know, so they're very much role models after our family, you know, I think that he observed the way we lived and knew that was the lifestyle Portia was accustomed to, and he has tried to make this a part of their life too. You know, as far as with the boys, they do everything with the boys. They go, they take them, they do everything as a family. You know, so I think we, in many ways, served as a role model for them. You know, he knew, dating Portia, what kind of family she came from, and he tried to live up to that. Yes.
So, what advice would you give to young people, or specifically maybe like young girls, both of you? It's like my age. I'm 21, and I'm not idolizing marriage, but it's something I like, and I think God gives you the desires of your heart. Like, so what advice would you give to any girl or any man, or specifically girl, like?
Yeah. To observe the person, get to know them, you know, have conversations in which you find out what they like, what their standards are, what their expectations are from you, and use that as a guideline and say, these are the things that I believe in, and I would hope that if we get together and become one, that these will serve as guidelines in our life and in our marriage.
I love how you said, like, talk first, because most people, we don't talk about things. We just, oh, you're cute, and that's it. But there's also, you know, your certain belief systems. Like, are you a Christian?
Right.
And if you are a Christian, what do you believe?
Right.
Because some Christians believe different things. Or how many kids do you want? Do you want kids? Like, things, I don't think it's wrong. You know, and you'll change over time. I'm sure when you're 20, you're not going to, some things may change. When you're 30, you may think. But core things, I think, are all good questions that need to be asked.
Religion at the top of the list. You know, your belief, your religious beliefs, what you believe in. And that was something
for y'all.
That we had to work out. You know, and I had always grown up more in the church than Clifford. So, you know, through the years, I pulled him more into the church. He went to church, but I grew up in it 200%. But, you know, through the years, he became more and more involved in the church. But as a child, you didn't really go that. What age did y'all really start going to church? How old were you, Clifford? Teenager. Yeah. Teenager when they really started going. What church was it? Episcopal Church. At Prairie View. You know, like his parents just didn't really go. And whereas mine went, I grew up in a home where my mother, that's a picture, her dad married us. AME minister. My grandfather was AME, a very good minister, very good speaker. Oh, yeah. Huh?
Yeah, I'm doing about the same time.
Who, about the same what?
The kids.
What kids?
About my age.
Started church at Prairie View. A lot of teenagers. Yeah. But see, we grew up in the church. My dad was Baptist, and he didn't go to church as much as my mother did. But my mother, we were there every Sunday. In the Sunday school, my brother, superintendent of the Sunday school, and I played for church, played for choir. So we really, really grew up into it. But we got married, you know, Clifford wasn't really into going, but it gradually, you know, I kept saying, I'm going. Okay, I'll go next Sunday. And finally, you know, he got there and was very involved. By the time we joined the AME church, he helped build the new Wesley Chapel this year. He was very involved.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
And I like how you didn't really like harp on him, because in the Bible, I forgot what verse it is, but it says you win your husbands over to Christ by your gentle and quiet spirit.
Uh-huh.
Some people can do it by like nagging them, like, why are you going to church? Like,
right.
you believe in God? Why are you not going?
Right.
Yelling, nagging, just yelling. But God's like, that's going to push them away from.
Right.
Like, you don't do that. So it's like your gentle and quiet spirit. You probably just say, oh, I'm going to church.
I'm going to church. Yeah.
I would like you to come, but if you're not, like,
Yeah, that's
so
what
and it won him over your gentle
right.
and quiet spirit. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say I'm going. He said, oh, that's fine. Go on. Maybe I'll go with you next Sunday. What do you want to say, Cliff?
Most of the parents.
Huh?
Most of the parents follow the kids.
Parents follow at Prairie View?
Yeah.
The parents follow the kids to church. So instead of the parents being the leaders, the kids were. The kids influenced their parents to go.
That's great.
Yeah, well, at least they got that.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So, what role do you think, like, God and Christ played in y'all's relationship? I know it's like
factored into everything.
Yeah.
To help us continue loving each other, to guide us and direct us in doing the right thing toward each other, and being a good role model for our children. And all of that's in God's hands. Made, we believe in what we read in the Bible. Now, Cliff was he's a good Bible scholar. He knows a lot. So God has definitely factored in our life 200%, every aspect of our life.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We have faith that God guides, protects, and watches over us at all times.
So there's apparently this book called The 5 Love Languages. And apparently the 5 love languages I forgot the name of this author, but it's like if it's like touch, or maybe like they like hugs or something. One is like giving gifts. One is like acts of service. One is words of affirmation. And another one, I forgot the other one, but I feel like mine would be words of affirmation, because I love when people tell me nice things. I love being affirmed. And like, how did you get to know I'm sure there's way more love languages, but how did you get to know each other? Like, does she like flowers? Does he like being cooked his favorite meal to show that I love him? How did y'all learn that, and what are maybe some of the things that...
Gadget. Clifford was always a gadget person. And he had to be the first one on the block. Whatever came out, he wanted that. And what was my favorite? Shoes. Shoes.
Yeah.
Shoes, shopping. But his favorite thing was gadgets. If something came out, he wanted to be the first one on the block to have it. Huh? Still what? Still is. She still loves gadgets.
Yeah, still is.
What would you like to have now?
iPhone.
iPhone, the new iPhone 6S, probably.
iPhone 6S. Samsung. You want Samsung?
You're a Samsung. You're an Android kind of man.
Yeah, but he's always been into gadgets.
That's so cool. And I love how you love photographs, because I love taking pictures just for the memories. So I love looking at all the memories you have.
We have so many pictures.
So awesome.
Oh, we have pictures.
That was... I knew that was a Porsche.
Huh?
In D.C.
In D.C.
Yeah.
That Porsche?
Yeah, that's
Porsche?
we went to a guy was doing that, a photographer, a guy who did that kind of.
She told him that Porsche liked to sing.
Yeah, we told Porsche like to sing, so he did that. And Porsche was with us, and he just sort of, I don't know what type of portrait you call that caricature, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but that's what that was. But we just always did get everything. Huh?
And when Brother Woods take a trip to Washington.
Yeah, and I accompanied the choir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what that was. We went, Brasseswood Choir went to D.C.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And we still love for our grandsons, for them taking care of them.
Yeah, I absolutely admire how, even you're just still there, like, serving him, just still there loving him.
That's
right. Even through, better or for worse.
Right.
Even when, like, our bodies maybe not acting like the same. I love how you still probably see him as the same fine man back at
that's what I tell it.
When you're 20 years old, and how he probably sees you as the same.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I love that how I know there's probably there's always hardships in life.
Challenges.
I love how you serve him like unconditionally, and I'm sure he serves you unconditionally.
Oh, he does.
And that's awesome.
He tells me from time to time, what are your most famous words that you tell your wife? I love you. Yeah.
Aww.
Oh, yeah, I say I love you back, too. Because, Clifford took care of business. I didn't realize now that I have to do everything how much he did, he covered a lot of bases. Covered a lot of bases.
And now you get to see kind of the full effect of what he did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Aww.
Very generous about gifts and things that he wanted his wife to have and stuff like that. Yeah. What were you getting ready to say?
Nothing.
Huh? So.
I would use things.
Uh-huh. You were just thinking.
Oh, you just thinking.
Oh, yeah. But, I said this is where we are in our life, and I do what I can to take care of him now.
Because you're 72, Mr. Ward?
73. He'll be 74 in March.
Okay. March what?
What's your birthday, Cliff?
Right.
March 20th.
March 20th. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love how, and I'm sure things change when, you had a stroke, right?
Yeah, I had a stroke. I'm 3 years ago.
Things change. You're probably, y'all both like, what do we do? Like,
I know.
It's hard, but look at, like, he's still here and he's talking. And
oh, yeah.
It's just a miracle. It's them of God. And
yeah. Whereas some people probably put their husband in a nursing home,
It's just not my fault. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. But that, he did that for about 3 months. I said, this is not. And and having him at home, it's just better.
He's in his own environment,
right?
And I know some people maybe can't afford to have a nursing, like the home care, but I'm sure there's still steps you can take even if they are in a nursing home. Make that nursing home as homey as you can.
Yeah.
You be there. You do the part. It's all about your heart behind things,
right?
Not just dropping somebody off saying, "Well, that's."
Yeah,
no.
That I'm not comfortable with that.
So I love how you're just even with my parents I want to even how to get an in-home nurse that's what I want for them.
Right.
So and even if somebody can't afford that, do your best to do what you can do to make them feel as loved as possible.
And that's what it's all about. And things work out.
You have
they
faith.
work out. Yeah. The comfort of home. Like I said. Otherwise it's just not the same. And
I love how there's so much peace in your home.
It's just quiet. This is a quiet subdivision. This is so quiet, and all you hear right now is just the rain.
I know.
It's just quiet.
And also, I know some people even live in quiet subdivision. They have a beautiful house, but there's just no peace in the home because they're just arguing and just know the spirit of peace, the spirit of God. It's just all kinds of spirits in there that's not godly.
Not godly.
So how do y'all keep this peace, this godly peace, that you feel welcome? I know it just comes from inside of y'all because there's just love in the house.
And God.
Cause you can kind of tell when you get in someone's house,
God first, and I'm constantly praying, asking God's help and guidance and strength.
That's awesome.
Give me calmness, give me faith, give me strength to know that I can do this. you know.
Yeah. I know you pray for your husband, too.
Oh, yes, I do.
So,
I was constantly praying for him. And God give him strength.
that's awesome.
Build up his endurance. Yeah.
I think maybe some wives, even young wives, may forget that we're supposed to pray for our husbands. Because
Right.
you may go to God and talk about your husband about complaining what he's doing.
Right.
But do you ever stop and say, like, hey, what am I doing? Or can you change my heart? Or this is what I would like from him. Or
Right.
praying instead of yelling and...
Right.
know.
Right.
So
Praying and asking for calmness and giving me strength and helping us to work through what we have to do.
Yeah.
You know? Like I said, we have family, kids come down and his brother and sister come down. But basically, it's us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have a caregiver here. And she told me to tell you hi.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Yeah.
I'm blessed with her.
Yeah. But like I say, you know, when things get down, it's still about us.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the two of us, which it's always been for 47 years.
Y'all are one flesh, you know. Y'all
yeah.
It's you.
Do things together, which we always have.
Well, this has encouraged me so much and blessed me so much. And I know it's going to encourage, like, those who read this. But if y'all have any last things to say, want to share, add, just...
I would just like to say that if I had to do this all over again, 47 years, I've been with my husband 47, I would remarry him.
No.
We've had a great, wonderful, loving, caring life. I would remarry him.
What a blessing.
Oh, yeah, he's been nothing but a blessing to me. And what about me? Have I been a blessing to you?
Yeah.
I know. We've just been a blessing to each other, you know?
Well, one more question. Like, sometimes even 47 years, or even being with... It's easy to take people for granted. Or we may, like, get comfortable, not do the same things we used to do to, like, charm them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're here. You're always going to be here. How did y'all keep that just constantly pursuing and just pursuing each other? Like, even though he pursued you to marry you, but how it seemed he still pursued you for 47 years, you know?
Yeah. By doing things that he thinks that I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Taking me places that I like to go.
And then you did the same thing.
I did the same thing with him. I said, okay, sometimes I plan things, you know, he said, I hadn't thought about that, like when we went on the cruise, you know, he hadn't really thought about that, you know, he said, well, that sounds good to me, so let's go. So that, you know, we just sort of always just work together on things, you know.
Like a best friend should.
Yeah.
Best friends.
Work together on it and talk about it and then come up with the final whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank y'all so much.
Well,
this
I
is
hope
amazing.
we did something.
It's so encouraging to me, and I know it's going to be encouraging to others.
Well, okay. Well, I hope so. You won't put a name on there, will you?
Oh, like, I wanted to. Like, if y'all...
That's okay. If you put our names on there.
If y'all, like...
we don't have to remain anonymous. You can put our names.
Okay.
That's okay. Well, people know us, too.
Yeah.
People know us, and they would say, yeah, well, I'm not surprised at, you know, some of the things that they read. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that would be a great example.
But it's all about God.
Yes.
God has made it all happen.
Yes.
Brought us to where we are.
Glory goes to Him.
Yes. Yeah, so we depend 200% on God.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much.